Hi guys, welcome to episode 3 of Wild Vlogs, where we'll talk about all things wildlife and all things filmmaking. And today we're going to concentrate on an amazing animal, the Pine Marten. Pine Martens are members of the mustelid family, the largest of which here in the UK is the badger. But the family also includes things like the polecat, the weasel and the stoat. Pine Marten's having a heavy influence on people here in Britain at the moment because every Sunday evening the BBC have done an adaptation of Philip Pullman's His Dark Materials, and well, one of the characters in it is associated with a Pine Marten. It's her demon, an animal that's attributed to her character is part of her character. It's very clever and they've done it very well. My association with Pine Martens has only ever been through a trail cam, which is good enough I suppose, but a bit of a cheat if you're a wildlife cameraman. I really wanted to film Pine Martens the other side of a GH5, first person with a Pine Marten in front of me. To do that, I'd need to go where you find Pine Martens. The best place for that, certainly, still, is the Scottish Highlands. I say that, there is though introductions here in England, in Gloucestershire, and there's a good population apparently in central Wales, but it was the Scottish Highlands for me. In fact, it was the Abernethy Forest Reserve. Abernethy Forest is a Caledonian redwood covering over 130 square kilometres. It's an amazing place with an incredible ecology. It has an underbelly of thick foliage of blaeberry and heather, and the Caledonian redwoods themselves have this incredible bark that stretches with their girth, creating lots of fissures and a beautiful home for many, many invertebrates. It's one of those reserves that you enter and you think this is how it should be. So I went up there and I went to a lodge that was familiar to me right on the outskirts of the forest itself. I knew to attract the Pine Marten to the decking, because that was the plan, I would have to put out the typical lures, that being peanuts, strawberry jam, and a chicken egg. I also did want to set up a trail cam, and I think I knew the best place for it because 500 yards from the lodge into the forest was a fallen redwood. Pine Martens love fallen trees. They use them to traverse the undergrowth free from all the tangle, and also it gives them a much better perspective of the area surrounding them. So I headed out into the forest and I found a beautiful redwood with a large root base. I was delighted to see that this root base had been used as a plucking post by a raptor, and looking at the feathers of carrion crow, this could only be a goshawk. I knew there were 4 territories of goshawk in the vicinity, and this obviously had been used many, many months previously, because by now the feathers were entwined in the moss and the lichen. I punched 2 holes into the root base so I could fix up my Bushnell HD trail cam, and as I did so, I seemed to disturb one of the local red squirrels. I sighted the trail cam looking down the length of the tree. Lightly baited it with peanuts, and then, well, it's just the waiting game. Three days in, and the planets aligned. A wonderful big male Pine Marten arrived. He enjoyed the peanuts and he seemed curious about my lodge only 500 yards away. Of course, not knowing this, I was sighted at the lodge behind my GH5 as I had been for the previous 2 days, waiting to see if anything came. Looking at the timestamps on the trail cam, it was a further 10 minutes after he left this redwood that he arrived at the decking. It was an incredible moment. This Pine Marten was literally only 10 yards from me, and it felt like I held my breath for the whole period. I was lighting the area with the Neewer CN160 LED banks, and I've been using these for the previous days, gently raising the amplitude of light. But soon he seemed pretty comfortable as he tucked into the jam. Incredible to see those claws, obviously a vital tool for this arboreal predator who can scale trees very quickly indeed. On a lighter note, I thought it was lovely that his muzzle seemed to be creasing as he tore into the strawberry jam, and it did remind me of Paddington and marmalade sandwiches. Once sated, he then decided to walk even closer to me, coming up to at least just 3 yards away. Thankfully, he seemed oblivious to me, and he returned to take the egg. It was an incredible moment, and one I won't forget for a long, long time, and one I can only hope might be repeated sometime in the future. Now I have to hang my head in shame, guys, because I alluded to you last week about the zebra spider, that I thought that it was the UK's only jumping spider. I've since learned that there are over 40 different species of UK jumping spider. I doff my cap to Ian Phillips, thanks for letting me know, and it just proves that nature is a constant learning curve. Question I set last week related to Frankie, the main character from my Fox film, and I was asking how long did she live for. The closest to it was Glenn Hartwell. Congratulations, Glenn. Glenn said 6 years, and Frankie actually pretty much died on her 7th birthday, so we'll say 7. A copy of my remastered allotment Fox coming to you, Glenn. The teaser for this week is going to be shown in my next time clip, which is coming at the end of this as I say goodbye. I just want you to tell me what it is that we're seeing. Simply that. If you can put your answers in the comments below, that'd be great, or if you want to, you can access my social media on Facebook or at Wild Present on Twitter. Thanks for joining me for episode 3. I'm looking forward to episode 4, but in the meantime, it just leaves me to say goodbye.